Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo. Ready to engage. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. 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 Yo, what's up? How you doing out there, my friends? My good, beautiful, happy, lovely friends. I love all of you individually as well as a group. How often do I say that? I say that all the bleeping time. And why do I say that all the bleeping time? Because it's darn bleeping true. And here we are on a Tuesday. I'm sorry. I don't know, skipping ahead, I guess, right? Let's do Tuesday show, and then Wednesday we'll do Wednesday show. I try to go along with, instead of doing Wednesday show on Tuesday and Tuesday show on Wednesday, I feel like it's better to go with the days of the week. It's easier for the crowd to follow along, although I don't know how much I want to encourage the crowd to follow along, because here on Operation Status Quo is a place where we observe the status quo. We understand how to flow with the quo, but we also understand the quo has its flow, and our flow could be a little different than what the quo flow is exactly. So you don't ever want to actually follow the crowd, ladies and gentlemen. You want to kind of be your own crowd, if you could, once in a while. Let's see here. I've got my let me fix this up. I'm going to go this way. Yeah, I see that little white spot there on the, see that? I move my camera. I'm watching myself on YouTube's a little delayed. Okay, that's good enough. That looks good enough. Seriously. All right. Hey, today's broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, is pop goes the bubble, because the bubble gotta pop. And what bubble are we talking about here today? Well, the bubble we're talking about here today is the financial bubble, ladies and gentlemen. And it's really amazing. People are out there now. You see what's going on with the banks. We talk about everything here on Operation Status Quo, all the facets of our mainstream life, and how to observe what's going on, and not necessarily be angry or fight, but be aware and be ready, and be taking taking proper steps to ensure what's best for each individual during these wacky, wild times of how the world is changing and everything that's happening out there. So, pop goes the bubble, because the bubble got to pop. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure. I know most people out there just realize, with the stock market in general, it goes up, it goes down, it has the fluctuations. And, anybody who's been around for a long time, who has money there for retirement accounts and such, you've seen your gains and losses over the years, and sometimes you take a big hit. But overall, I guess, they always say it works out. You just leave it in there and it goes through its little flow, but you always earn, a basic percent or anything, but unfortunately, what people don't understand, and the truth of it all, is that the whole system is a rigged, system. And you may know that, right? You might realize, of course, I know it's rigged and it's BS, but, what else are you going to do with your money? How are you going to sustain wealth? How are you going to be able to purchase goods and services if you're not in the system where everything is in the system, But now we're coming to a point where, this nonsensical monetary fiat system, U.S. petrodollar, blah, blah, whatever's going on, it can't sustain itself anymore. And the funny thing is, the system was designed to fail from day one, because anytime you're going to take, 1 unit of currency, let's just say $1, $1 US dollar, for example, and then every time you borrow $1, you owe more dollars on that dollar. Right there is the flaw from the beginning. You can't make more money out of the money that is already there, right? If you have $1 and then they charge you interest on it, you're already behind, and there's only so many dollars, and every dollar is just worth $1. You understand what I'm trying to say? So they've already built it into the system to keep you suppressed from day one. And then ironically enough, on top of it, they'll turn around and take the money that you have in your accounts. I spoke about this before in one of the other episodes. It basically is like, if you have a retirement account or something, maybe it's tax deferred up front. If you ever try to tap into that too soon, basically, you'll be penalized, taxed, everything. And then if you really want to get your money out of some kind of account and move it somewhere else, even with the penalties and the taxes, it's like a whole, whoop-de-doop-de, loop-de-loop-de, round and round thing you got to go through to get your money out because, the money's not there, right? The money's not there. They take your money and then they break it down into smaller groups of money that they have out with other big, like these banks, for example. And that's what's going on with these banks. The banks don't have the money, right? The banks take the money and they put it out on contracts or this or that or deals with other bigger organizations, bigger banks, I don't know, whatever, mortgages, whatever, but wherever it is, it's not in the bank. Like you put $10,000 in the bank, it's like poof, it's like abracadabra, it's gone because they take it and invest it out somewhere else. And then, maybe if you're lucky enough, they'll give you some little percent on it. You get a little percent on it. And, even in the stock market, if you earn an average of 6 or something percent, over the course of all the years you put in, blah, 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 you have just enough. You have just enough when you're old and feeble to put yourself in assisted living, ladies and gentlemen. So that's basically what it is. Just enough to put yourself in assisted living. They don't want you to have too much. Because if you have abundance, you don't need them, Hey-o. And they certainly don't want you to have abundance. So I did make a couple notes of points I wanted to make about this today because I think it's an important issue because, this crap is really happening, all right? I know people just kind of bury their heads in the sand and, hope to God. And I'm not trying to, do a cry a doom over here or anything. Like everything always works out. But why not take advantage of the situation if you know what's going on and put yourself in a position where maybe you can, weather the storm, as it were, because, even people like to talk about credit unions, like, okay, well, I'm in a credit union, it's like, well, at the end of the day, if the banks, they all go down, the whole system is together. So it all goes down. The stock market, the banks, your credit unions, it all goes down. Now, I'm not saying that means like, it's going to be down forever and everybody's destitute and you're going to be shooting each other in the streets for a can of tuna. Like, I hope not. I hope not. But that's why I don't buy tuna, because I'll be damned if I'm going to get shot for a can of tuna. Maybe a can of beans, but I will not get shot for a can of tuna. That's for darn sure. But anyway, there's plenty of other things I'm sure people would want to shoot me for, right? Yes, that's what I was saying. Everything, all the money's lended out. I'm just trying to go through some of these notes. The points. I want. Yes, and then they f with the stock market too, right? Like it's in there, and you think like these free trades are happening, but they know what they're doing. They long certain items or short certain items, and then the people get in knowing that this is going to be shorted, so they manipulate the price so that they can. Oh my God, it's so deep and complex, and the truth is the everyday people like you and me, who are just there working, making a living, trying to put a little money away to have a little life. They're playing, with all your crap. They're playing with everything. So, we've been taught to put the money away. That's I made that comment. And here's the truth. Here's another thing too. Like we're always worried about the money. Well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? If we don't have money, blah 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 blah. But here is like the ultimate truth. This goes back to like the foundation of what Operation Status Quo is just trying to show here. Is that the fact is like what are we even taught? When we're born into this world. You're not taught like, they don't teach you like true freedom and true abundance to me, is knowing how to like have the skills to be able to like build your own home or to grow food, to be able to fix things like a car breaks down, how to fix it, start a fire, actual practical knowledge that's useful, in your everyday life. Instead, they have this whatever. I don't even want to get into the whatever they want to teach about gender history or gender whatever. They want to, that's a big thing going on now, fighting in the schools of, whether they can teach little kids if they want to get rid of their wee-wee or not. It's like, yeah, listen, I know it's almost recess and you just want to go play in the schoolyard with your friends. But I was just wondering, do you want to get rid of your wee-wee? Because we can do that for you here in 3rd grade. Hey-o. That's the shit they're teaching in school instead of teaching you how to plant some seeds and, how to know how the seasons go for growing and planting and, how to actually build a house or start a fire. So I think it's really amazing. So, we're bombarded basically with, false history, and just nonsense. So, in this time, how do we mitigate, so to speak, or how do we go with what's going on in the turmoil? Because pop goes the bubble because the bubble got to pop. And let me tell you, the bubble's going to pop. And we're heading towards just a new financial system. I'm personally looking forward to it. I've said this before. I just can't wait for more equity and equality, for just people. People do not deserve to have to work, through 3 jobs and just keep their head above water. We're all beautiful souls, creations of God with beautiful talents and skills and love in our heart. And we should be, learning and expressing who we are and creating a community. And that has nothing to do with like not working or anything like that. Like, I said this before, I'll probably say a lot of the things over and over, but the Amish, they work together, they build their barns, they build their houses, they're a community. It doesn't have to be like a cult or something. Just like, life doesn't have to be that complicated. This is the matrix that I was talking about yesterday. I mean, this is what we're in, right? We're in this like playland where, all our priorities, all our values, everything is just like screwed up and in the wrong place. Everybody is so worried about like what the football players are doing, who's going to sign for what team. Is Tom Brady really retired or is he coming back? Like that's the big story, In the meantime, the financial markets are crashing, inflation's through the roof. People have a hard time buying, selling houses, all this kind of thing. I mean, like, real practical stuff doesn't mean it's all just washed away. We don't really, so what are you going to do? That's just, we know it's tough. We're working hard. They're not working hard. They put this system in place. This system is designed to steal from you, to keep you from having. So what is truly valuable? Well, what's truly valuable? I really believe, and I was never into this so much as a youngster, but the precious metals. I mean, it's in the Constitution. It's in the Bible. The only real forms of money are gold and silver. And right here, I have myself a little, this is a 10-ounce bar from APMEX. You can check out their website. Really good, nice. Good weight to it, nice and shiny, beautiful. And that's 10 ounces of silver right there, So you start getting your hands on things like that. And when the system crashes, and eventually it's going to crash, and they're going to have to do a reset, what's it going to be reset on? That'll be reset on the same standard that's always been the standard for humanity since the beginning of time, which is precious metals, gold and silver, especially, gold. So, believe me, these countries, they got tons of it. One of the things, even with the Grand Canyon, I was reading up on it. That place is closed off because of the limitless amounts of gold that are in there that they don't mine. They're just basically keeping it on hold until they need it. Same thing with silver. I mean, there's so many talks of I don't have to tell you. You can research it for yourself. Just all the industrial usages for silver. Between the solar panels, the cars. It's basically in everything. It's the best conductor of electricity known to man in a metal. This is, it's needed, and yet it's not being mined. There's actually shortages of it because it's not worth the price and the cost it would take to mine it. It's not worth the cost, because they're only keeping it at like this $20-something. And that's the thing too. If you're interested in metals, and I said this before, this came from, I forgot the woman's name. She has a YouTube channel. She's a finance type person. And she always says, if you don't own it, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, and that's the truth. That's why I say, this, I own it. Right? I own this bar. So if they decide to shut down the banks tomorrow or whatever, now I got value. I got value here. And who knows what the value is going to be, because the stock market value is BS. They take like 1 ounce of silver, say, and they'll make a what's it on the stock market, SLV or whatever. But they're really selling that 1 ounce of silver like, 10,000, a million times, into a bunch of people in a group stock. So if you took that stock you have in silver and said, okay, I have X amount of, ounces of silver based on what my investment is, and you go to them and say you want your silver, you're not going to get your silver because they don't have the silver to get you, just like the banks don't have the money to give you, So it's just such a scam and a game, hey, listen, I'm a man of the people. That's why, let me give it a little round of applause. I'm a man of the people, and that's why I'm here. Don't you understand? No. Don't get upset. It's the truth. I'm here because I care about you. I care about you. I care about the world. I want us to be embracing and learning and loving and creating a happy space. Yes. There's the kiddies. Hey, you little kids. Get your silver before the whole system crashes, little guys. Yeah, I know you little good the kids out there. Listen to them. Listen to them. Can I go back here? Can I get rid of this darn... oh my gosh, we got a lot going on here. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I got to see which screen am I on. Oh, I got to go back over here. Here we go. Okay. Whew. Sorry about that. Every once in a while, I get into a little bit of a, you know how I go. If you know me, you know how I go. So, but anyway, so that's the message today. Pop goes the bubble because the bubble's got to pop. And I'm encouraging you out there to pay attention to what's going on. I'm not saying, I wouldn't say drain all your money out of the bank, but I mean, if all of a sudden they shut down and you don't get that money back, you may have wished that you had drained the money out of the bank. Have something in your hand, have some cash on hand at least. Gets whatever you have in your house. That's like, you have jewelry, right? You have whatever that stuff is, like, make a space, put it together. Those are the valuables. These are the things, like, again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. If you don't own it, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Otherwise, I can't say it right, But anyway, so what do you have? What do you have that's worth value? I mean, you might even have like some old, like silver, silverware or something, from old place settings, or like, a silver teacup or whatever crap they used to use, back in the day. Those things, it's all worth something. You might have, even if you're loose change, like I keep all the loose change. It's all basically copper, but not for anything. You can melt down the copper and get something back for it of value. So we got to start thinking in a different way. We just can't work ourselves to the freaking bone and then give all our shit away to these people who are stealing it from us, and then decide on a whim that they suck the system dry enough that now they'll turn it off and they don't give a crap. These people like JP Morgan, these big banks, they're buying gold, tons and tons and tons of gold. They're buying it. We don't see it. This is not the stuff that's on the news, Same thing with the silver, the derivatives and all this kind of crap. They play this shit all out and make it all up, and they can just click a button and make silver this price, that price, the other price. It's same thing with all the stocks. They decide one day this price, that price, the other price, and it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not right. And I'm not saying this to attack people or scare people. I'm saying be the power, use the power. You are the power. So think about what's going on. Make educated decisions. Follow what's happening, read between the lines, stop watching mainstream news, start doing some actual research, find out, there's plenty of people out there. I've found wonderful information. I was never in economics or, anything that has to do with anything that's like serious, because I'm just I'm a jokey, smile, how you doing? Let's go for a swim, type person. I'm not into like all these, charts and graphs and, all this nonsense they do to make, business. I'm a businessman doing business, and here's our graphs and here's our charts, and this is what, expectations over the next couple of years, and do. You don't need all that shit, right? I mean, all that shit is, you're worried, it's all everything you have is right in front of you right now. The trees, the food that grows right off the earth, the trees, you could take them down, you could build your house. You could dig a hole in the ground, make a nice cave and have a house. I don't know. I'm just trying to say we've been snookered. We've been snookered, ladies and gentlemen. And here on Operation Status Quo is the place where we observe the snookery that's going on, and we see if we can get past the snookery and create a new snook to put our stuff in. So anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to say today. I wanted to bring it up, and just really make the point. The banks are crashing. Really look at what's going on in our system. The stock market's a lie. It's just crazy. It's really just crazy. Why do people have to work their whole life, to maybe one day be 60, 70, and hope they have enough to get by, and then, you could save all your life and then the market can crash and now you're about to retire, you're in your 70s and you are retired, or and all of a sudden where your money is, it crashes out and now you don't have anything. Is that right? I mean, and they're like, oh, what are you going to do? That's the way of the world. And, we understand it's tough for everybody. I was watching, this is not related, but watching a story down here in Florida on the news yesterday, talking about, they're doing stories about people through Hurricane Ian, which ripped through here last October and, devastated a nice chunk of the state, a little south of where I am. And, there's a story on the news, this woman, she's fighting every day. She still doesn't have a house. They brought a little camper thing she's living in outside of her house. They can't get the money. Nobody's fixing anything. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, in a real world where people really cared about each other, instead of all the politics of insurance and logistics and do and on and whatever they say, like, where are they? Where are they these are the things that should be taken care of. Boom. And I know things take time. You can't just like build a house in 2 days or whatever, but this should be like, it shouldn't even be a question. It shouldn't be like, well, we have to fill out this paperwork. It has to go up through here. And then remember that we're going to release a check and then and then it's like 2 years later. I mean, even up where I came from, living in the South Jersey area when, what was it? Not Irene, the was it Irene? What was or Sandy? Wasn't it Sandy? Hurricane Sandy that came through. It made the left-hand turn and, just cut through the state and just demolished some portions of the Jersey Shore and such. And, those people fighting for years. Their houses, they might not even have them. They're gone. It's gone, never be rebuilt, So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's thievery. It's thievery. There's a Ministry song, if you know the band Ministry. Thieves, thieves, thieves and liars. Thieves, thieves, thieves and liars. And these are the people, the thieves and liars. They're the people that were voting in the office. They're the people that are sitting there making the laws for us. They're the people running the big corporations, selling you all the shit you don't need. Thieves and liars. So there you have it today here, ladies and gentlemen, on Operation Status Quo. Go get yourself some physical silver, some physical gold. The gold's really kind of expensive. You can get a lot more silver for the same amount of money you could buy an ounce of gold. And quite honestly, once the bubble goes pop, because the pop goes to bubble, because the bubble got to pop. Once that happens, they're going to come a lot closer together in price. So, you could be seeing silver now that's, $23 an ounce that could be selling for $1,000, $2,000, maybe more. I mean, it's really, really crazy. So imagine you spend today like $300 or something and buy a 10-ounce bar, and then all of a sudden it goes up to $1,000 an ounce. Now you have $10,000 that you spent $300 on, and which you can't even really say what the value of what is, because the money will all change anyway, but you'll have actual physical material asset, a valuable asset in your possession to safeguard against these trying times. So anyway, Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we observe the status quo. We learn to flow with the quo, but we also understand and appreciate that we don't have to necessarily go with the quo. We can create our own flow for our quo and quo with that, because the status quo is only what the current condition is. We're observing the current condition. The current condition is going to change, and then we'll be seeing what that status quo is. I guess. All right. Hey, one more time with applause. I love you. I love you all, individually as well as a group. Please, please, please like, subscribe, share, drop me some comments. Tell me what's on your mind. I'm anxious to have other people be involved in this program. So I want you to share your ideas. Give me topics you'd like to talk about, some information you have, or whatever. You want to come on and be a guest and talk about whatever you got going on. Maybe you're a Bitcoin miner. Let's talk about the cryptos. I'm not sure about the cryptos. I prefer the precious metals, but they do say it's going to have to switch to something. They do say Bitcoin is probably the safest place to be for that, although it probably will kind of crash out, but once it will be utilized when the new system comes to fruition. So however that may be, I'm sure there's people out there obviously a lot more educated than myself on this topic, but I've been following a lot for basically since the fake pandemic started. And, realizing that we as a people have been under attack and in all facets of our lives. And it's time to, stand strong and take care of yourself, think for yourself, take care of yourself, and, and just flow with the quo. That's what we do here, right? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, don't forget, please like, subscribe, share, send it out to all your family, your friends, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well, because they're important people too, and we'll be back. I'll be back probably tomorrow. You know what I mean? So just, keep put that notification bell locked on so you know when I'm coming on, and you can check out what we're doing here on Operation Status Quo. So thank you for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. God bless each and every one of you. I love you so much. Have a great day, and talk to you real soon.